What's up, everybody? Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have yet another album review for you. And one that, again, I didn't know was coming out, and I didn't find out was coming out until like a couple of weeks ago. Like, oh, wow, I almost missed that. So today we are going over the latest offering from Glorious Depravity, Death Never Sleeps. This also comes out on the 7th of November on Trendsetting Obscurity Records. This band formed in 2017 in New York City. This is their second album overall. We reviewed their first one, Ageless Violence, which came out in 2020, year of our COVID. Now that one came out on Translation Lost Records, and I kind of forgot about this band. Yeah. And, well, lo and behold, they resurfaced on a totally different record label. And for those that don't know, this is just some flat-out death metal, like old school, grimy death metal. Arguably, maybe a supergroup. This does feature current former members of bands like Woe, Unrest, Gravesend, Pyron, and even Mutilation Rites. So, maybe supergroup? I don't know.
My history is the same as Nick's. We reviewed Ageless Violence. I actually tried to get this band for Denver Death Fest 2023 and just couldn't do it because something about routing issues, or I don't know, it was all the way in Colorado and they're from New York, and I get it, but I dug Ageless Violence, so I figured why not give this a shot.
I mean, that album was solid, just straight up nasty, very 90s sounding death metal. And this is also kind of that different producer on this one, and maybe a different style of 90s death metal. Overall, Ageless Violence kind of sounded like a homogenization of like different styles of death metal. It definitely seemed to center around the 90s, of course, but a little bit of Florida, a little bit of New York, even like a touch of like some more like European flavor in there too. This one feels like just straight up Florida death metal. A lot more thrashy influence. The guitars kind of have like more of a thrashy sizzle. It's faster. A lot of the riff work in here is faster overall. The opening track, Slaughter of the Gerontocrats. I don't know what that last word is. Some of these song titles are very odd. Like, they went to, like, death metal chat GPT is like, here, come up with some titles that are just strange. They don't have to make sense, but they have to have a lot of spooky, weird words in them. Or just combinations of words just to make it sound more metal. Either way, the opening track, as soon as it comes in, you get, like, a nasty turnover into blast beats. It's got, again, thrashy, fast-paced riffs. There's very sizzly guitars on here. This was mixed by Joe Sencada, who's done work with like bands like Suffocation. He's also a former member of Catastrophic, which was kind of a supergroup itself. And this was mastered by one Ryan Bart Williams, formerly of Black Dahlia Murder. And they went for like a very 90s sound overall. Like this almost kind of sounds a bit like a Scott Burns mix.
And not only that, but we mentioned it's got a very Floridian sound. Right off the bat, it's inescapable for you not to think it's Cannibal Corpse. Like the third song, Fresh Kills Poltergeist. Again, here's just some words that are together. I don't really know what Fresh Kills Poltergeist is.
Well, it's when you kill the poltergeist like earlier than
later?
Yeah, later.
It's a fresh kill.
Yeah, fresh kill.
Yep, again.
Has to be that day.
Yep. That song sounds like Cannibal Corpse. Like, there's no way around it. Like, Wretched Spawn era Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, like, I mean, big on the, stampeding drums, the grooves, stomps, the guitar riffs themselves. I mean, it screams that era of Cannibal Corpse. A lot of, like, the just hefty, angular, fast-paced chugging. And when it's not doing that, it's, again, kind of thrashy overall. Like, other Floridian bands that would compare this to, like Malevolent Creation, big time. Yeah. Monstrosity as well. But also bands that emulate that particular sound as well. I got a lot of Blood Red Throne. I also got a lot of Skeletal Remains on here. It's all in kind of like that style, but a lot of this is just, again, like very centered on that Floridian style where it's just a constant fucking battering of heavy thrashy riffs. And there's like an overall like kind of like speedy vibe to this. Like even when you're down into like some of like the more groovy sections, which there are like good groovy sections on here. The title track in particular is probably one of the grooviest numbers on here. And the song Sulphurous Winds Howling Through Christendom. Yeah, it is devil farts just through the church. But often when they do slow down, there's still something very fast about it, whether it's like a quick double time stampeding double bass, or just like fast picking speed. Which picking speed on here, there's like two different gears of picking speed. Fast and faster.
The drums slow down, but the riffs don't. The riff itself stays very speedy. Like, the drums might have time, but the riff over top of it never changes from just like using a constant battering ram. Like, the pick hand is moving easily pretty quickly. I'm not sure what the other hands are doing, but the pick hand is on it.
There's some like clever syncopation every now and then to kind of like break it up a little bit. The song Strip Mind Flesh Extractor. Yeah, it sounds like a hell of a fun device. A lot of like early Decapitated on there, like especially the first two albums. And Carnage at the Margins too also has some like fun syncopated grooves that kind of break it down a little bit differently. Kind of, just laying off the relentless chugging, because there's not a lot of like open territory on here.
No.
Like, this is constantly going, pretty much filling up every conceivable moment with just, again, rapid fire riffs, constant blasting or double bass. And when it's not filled with that, it's filled with strange transitional atmosphere. There's only a couple of moments on this album where it does like kind of throw in like some extra spacey effects, and it's generally right at the end of the track or the beginning of the next one. But I don't know, like, it doesn't necessarily fit very well. Like, it feels like it's not well integrated into the music. Like, they could have just faded out and then gone on to the next song.
Well, like, the first time I really noticed it was Strip Mine Flesh Extractor. The end of that song ends with like a sample and like some whooshing wind, but it's where that sits. Like, the riff just stops. There's no like breakdown. There's no like clear end of the song. The riff just stops, and then there's a sample, and then the song's over, and you're just kind of like, wait, hold on, what are we doing? Why do we do that?
Yeah, other moments are just like little snippets of atmosphere, and then it's kind of off to the next chuggy riff. But the thing is, like, they don't feel like they're kind of melded into the music. Like, there isn't like any overlap or anything like that. It's just bam, kind of loud sample, and then into the next chuggy riffathon. Which, I like the energy on here. It definitely reminds me of a lot of death metal that initially got me into death metal overall. But here's the thing: even for like meat potatoes death metal, this really kind of feels very one gear. Like, there's a lot of riff changes on here, and they're all vicious as shit, but they also kind of blend in with one another. Like, they're not dynamic enough to really stand out often. Like, sometimes, again, it's just going from rapid fire chugging to like a harmonized tremolo, which sounds like a harmonized tremolo that you heard on maybe another track on here.
Yep. I mean, I won't say it's completely void of dynamic. Scourged by the Wings of the Fell Destroyer, that one at least has some overall dynamic as far as what the song does. Like, it gallops, there's some different vocal dynamic, the riffs are catchy, there's a breakdown, like the transitions all seem to hit where they're supposed to, there's some stomping moments, but at least in that song, it's more than just balls to the wall, straightforward blasts and or like a double time groove, because a majority of the songs do that.
Flesh Kills Poltergeist has like harmonized dive bombs and this really interesting kind of like techie section. Like, it's still very much like on the groove, but the bass guitars are doing some really cool stuff overall. Like, there's some really cool bass noodles on there. And the title track has probably the slowest, most ominous, lurching riffs on the entire album. It's like the first moment where it kind of lays off that thrashy kind of like brutal sound and gives it like a little bit of more spooky atmosphere. Like, let some chords ring out, let them sound dingy and dark and kind of echo throughout the studio. I guess you're not really in a cavern. This doesn't have a cavernous feel.
Yep, it's probably the most different thing on the entire record, and even when they do speed it up, it's got a really, really cool groove to it, and a lot of really cool accents that are within that groove too. But yeah, like, that song is probably the biggest standout track on the entire record, and it's the last track, and it's the title track. So props to you for making a title track that stands out, that doesn't seem to be something that bands are doing much nowadays, so I'm happy it's being done here. Like, songs I would remember would be the last track out of 9 tracks.
Yeah, honestly, that would be probably the one that I would remember the most. Carnage at the Margins, maybe too, because they kind of just have like some fun towards the end with just, hammering on a riff and then just doing like lead trade-offs, which the leads on here, I mean, they're straight up like dive bomb, like, I mean, Cannibal Corpse style leads. They're fun, they fit the mode. But as much as like, this plays to like bands that I really enjoy, I felt like this album kind of dragged, and it's only 34 minutes. That's a pretty tight runtime for what's going on here, but there's just not enough variety on here to really, kind of like open this album up. I feel like every song, for the most part, was trying to hit the same exact mark. And with that, you get like a lot of rinse and repeat elements on here. Like, the drum work, I like how aggressive and fast it is, but there's not a lot of nuance to it. It's a couple of different blast patterns and then, like some groove patterns here and there. But yeah, like it's not particularly flashy. I mean, again, it drives the songs, but it feels just, again, like very stiff, like almost programmed. I'm pretty sure it's not programmed.
It's not.
But I don't know, it kind of feels that way.
Another thing is, I thought a couple of the songs sounded kind of incomplete. Sulphurous Winds, Howling Through Christendom, it just ends. Like, it's a short song anyway, but there's no, like, rhyme or reason as to how it ends. There's no breakdown, there's no riff change. It's just 1 minute they're playing, and then the next minute's over. There's not even transitional atmosphere. It's just done. You're like, hold up. The same thing can be said for Strip Mine Flesh Extractor. Like, that's the one where it does end with the sample, but at the same time, it's where that sample comes in. There's no rhyme or reason to that either. There's no lead up to it. It's just like 1 minute they're riffing, and the next minute here's a sample, and the song's done. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it sounds like they legit like chopped the song just to throw in the sample. I don't know. I mean, again, like, this has elements I do like. Again, these guys are clearly influenced by a lot of bands that I like. There's even some Carcass elements in the title track that I really dug. But, I don't know, again, it just kind of all runs together on here. And even those little bits of atmosphere are enough to kind of break it up, because as soon as the next song starts, it starts in a very similar fashion as the last one. It also might have something to do with the production here. Like, the production for me, it never quite settled for me. Like, I like the guitar tone and all. I think the vocals sound great. Like across the board, I think the vocals are probably like one of my favorite things on here. Dude's got a great low growl, and the high screams, I mean, they kind of sound a lot like Trevor, and they're well placed. But at the same time, nothing on here I would call flat out bad. Like, there's nothing on here that was just like so off-putting. I would say, no, turn it the fuck off. I'm just done with Death Metal Day. You probably will never hear me say that. I'll probably say, ooh, is this so-and-so? Like, oh no, it's the new, Glorious Depravity. I was like, oh, cool, let's check it out.
Right. No one over here is going to go, all right, I'm done with death metal, let's turn on Kids Bop. It's time to fucking fart around a ring with a teddy bear. Like, that's not going to happen.
That's oddly specific.
Don't worry about it.
That's okay, right? Anyway.
Nobody's talking to you.
Slightly worried now.
Don't, it's not a thing. I don't have a problem.
Anyway, overall though, I'm going to give this 3 stars. I think this is, despite its rough edges and whatnot, a pretty solid affair. I do favor the first one more. The first one, there's just a little bit more to it in terms of like riff variety. I kind of prefer the production on it a little bit more too. But I mean, if you just like flat out old school death metal, you're gonna find stuff you like in here. Especially stuff in the vein of like, again, Floridian stuff, Cannibal Corpse, Malevolent Creation, and again, stuff like Skeletal Remains and Blood Red Throne. It's a lot of chug, it's a lot of groove. It's a lot of like just hefty in-your-face riffing. It's pretty much a non-stop riff fest from start to finish on here. It just gets a little samey for me, but I don't know, it's kind of a good samey overall. I just think this album needs to be kind of like balanced out a little bit more. It kind of, again, went for the same mark on a lot of these songs, and granted, it nailed it, but you ended up with like a lot of similar sounding songs. Either way though, if you're a fan of any of the bands that we have brought up here, check this out. Pretty solid album.
I agree. It's a 3. That rhymes. It's a solid album. The riffs are still plentiful and entertaining. It runs together. Like the whole record, like 9 songs, I could tell you about one of them for sure. One of them that stood out. The rest I could say were 8 songs that were pretty intense and were full of great riffing and full of great energy. They just kind of all march to the beat of the same drum. Even with the transitional atmosphere, or the atmosphere tucked, at the end of tracks, it's not like it took away from the music. It's not like they spent too much time with the atmosphere. There are a little couple pockets where there is some stuff going on, but for the most part, it's just to the throat, nonstop. And if you're into music like that, especially stuff like Blood Red Throne and Skeletal Remains, which this reminds me highly of, if that's what you're looking for, you're definitely going to get that out of this record. I just didn't think personally that it hit as hard as the last record, and I think it needed just a little bit more by way of variety, but it wasn't a bad jam whatsoever. So, 3 stars from me, and if you're into, again, any of the bands we mentioned, give it a whirl for yourself.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships. They're only 99 cents. Our Lone Perk is doing a members-only live stream, which we will probably be doing towards the end of this month, around U.S. Thanksgiving, which will be probably not on the actual day, but probably sometime like about before it. I don't know. We will let you guys know for sure. But memberships are the main way to support the channel, and if you would like to help out there, there's a join button down here someplace for you to, I don't know, headbutt, spit on, fucking hallelujah on. Something gross. This is a death metal review. Dealer's choice on whatever bodily fluid you want to hit that join button with.
Just build up boogers. Build up the biggest booger you can and just right into your join button. It'll be gross, but I mean effective. So even if you choose not to subscribe, it's cool. We do tons of non-members only stuff. We have a non-members only live stream, which is just as dumb, if not dumber, as the members live stream. We have album reviews, discography rankings, tons of discussion forums, Nick's never-ending collection updates, just tons of stuff all the time. Because what the hell else are we going to do? Right? We're Thralls of fucking metal, but you know that because you're still here, and we appreciate that. Thank you to everybody that's still a part of this channel, that watches us, to our new subscribers. Welcome. Sorry. You also welcome. We appreciate you too. Couldn't do this without you.
Yeah, tons of content coming our way, and yeah, who knows what else we might throw in, some like I don't know, random videos here. We're gonna be opening up the floodgates a little bit more come December. I mean, year-end lists, and then I don't know, it kind of gets slow after that, so we have to think of shit.
Have a metal snowball making contest or something.
So as you can see, thinking is not our strong suit, but if you've been a member of this channel for a while, you already know that. Either way, though, thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, all that stuff means the world to us, and we will catch you later.